Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. Boogie, please go tell somebody that go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Yes, sir. And if you're new to the program, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right. So I am your neighborhood holistic practitioner. I am none other than your homie, HerbMan, coming live from South Africa, live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Go get somewhere, get situated, because we teach people how to heal themselves. And you cannot heal yourself unless you know thyself. So we teach you here about the human frame and the human design so that you guys can be well on your way to the happiness, the wholeness, and the wellness you so surely deserve. All right. So you guys keep on tapping. This is a free information station. You guys don't have to pay for anything that you hear here today. All you simply got to do is pay attention. And how we do that on the HerbMan Show is by double tapping that screen and getting us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast. I promise you I'll work for it. Okay. But I want you to be interactive and share as well so that we can get this message out to as many people as possible. There's no telling when I'm going to stay, when I'm going to leave, but you must get it while the getting is good. All right. So once we get to 1,000 likes, we'll get into the subject matter at hand, you guys. All I've been trying to teach you guys is about this panacea program. There is no panacea product, but there is a particular way you can reprogram your life and get you back into health. Okay. And we're going to talk about these 7 waters. A lot of people come through consciousness in a lot of different ways. Let me make sure my YouTubers are here. A lot of people come through consciousness in a lot of different ways, you guys. All right. And so what happens is when you come through, you'll start listening to things like the number 7, right? You got the 7 candles, you got the 7 churches, you got the 7 chakras, you got the 7 Pleiades, you got the 7 sisters, you got all these things that are, just surrounding the number 7. But the significance of that when it comes to your biology, you ain't really understood. And so what we're trying to get you to understand is that number 7 is a very intricate, very integral part of your life in the form of what you need to be learning it. And that is in the form of fluids. Now, the thing is that a lot of us don't know our 7 waters. A lot of us don't understand what the Pleiades was all about. But it just was a time when you understood the flood coming in. And the flood coming in back in ancient times wasn't necessarily a bad time. It was a time where, you went to high ground. You let the flood do its thing, because when the flood leaves, meaning that when the suffering comes, suffering leaves behind a fertile silt. Okay, I want you guys to get this. Okay, when the flood goes, it leaves behind a thing called fertile silt. Okay, not soot, but fertile silt. And so you'll understand that when tragedy, when trauma, when drama, when suffering comes, it'll leave behind some type of material that we can benefit from. That when the sickness comes, it'll have some residue of a transformative opportunity. When you are born in poverty, it'll leave behind some type of material that you can benefit from if you know how to capture the opportunity. When you got social anxiety and you're socially awkward and you are lonely in your stances in life and you don't understand, but that'll leave behind some kind of residue for you to be able to change your life. Okay, so the ancient people understood that the flood wasn't a bad time, it was a good time, because if we let it flood, if we just can survive the flood, then after it, we're going to be able to eat, we're going to be able to have our situation change. Okay, so after the flood, your situation changed. Okay, but what it is that you don't understand the water. So there are 7 waters of the body, and there are 4 ways that you can block these waters. Okay, blockage. You can scatter the light coming through the water. Remember that in the beginning it was light and water. Okay, light has to be able to shine through the water. So if you're looking at the murals, okay, the mural, all right, the M-U-U-R, not the Moors. The Moors got their word from the Moors. The murals, our definition is people of the water that can bear the light. Okay, they are of the water, but they can bear the light. Who that sound like? Then you come through the waters of your mama's womb, but you can bear the light. Melanin. You're a light bearer. That means that you can absorb. That means that you can reflect light. The sun, the moon, and the water does what? The moon and the water both do the same thing. They can absorb and reflect the sunlight. Okay, so you are of the water to where you can reflect and absorb the sunlight. I want y'all to remember that as we move forward, because this is a teaching moment. Please go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Keep tapping and I'll keep talking. Okay, remember this moment right here that we're talking about. Okay, and I want y'all to remember. I want y'all to remember so you can say, HerbMan, you might have forgot, but you need to go back to that first moment. Light and water. Water absorbs and reflects light. Remember that, okay? And then at the end of the day, you are water people who can bear the light. You're water people who can bear the light. So this ancient science has been going on since the original people. The Moors are the original people of the planet. Way before the Aztecs, way before the Toltecs, way before the Olmecs, way before the Mayans, way before the Asians, way before the Chinese, way before everybody. You understanding that this is the original people. Not even the Africans understood this, but this is what we understood the word to be. The Mu'er. The original people of the light and the water. And they had an understanding of mathematics. They had an understanding of navigation. They had an understanding of cultivation, colonization. They had already had the blueprint. And the blueprint came from the understanding of biophotons into matter. Spirit into matter. Light into matter. You can say light in the matter, spirit in the matter. They got that concept, and once they got it, they started teaching it. It was the sacred science. Now, with that being said, we understand this now. When you come down a little bit further, we took the light and the water, and we called it temperature and fluids. Okay, so the Aztecs and the in the old mix took it and said, okay, temperature and fluids is what the Moors was talking about. Okay, so we understand the efficacy and the importance of the fluids, the waters. Okay, but I got to get you to understand that if you don't understand this part, you won't get it. How do I heal myself? You emotionally will create chaotic waters. Light cannot shine through brightly through turbulent waters. So you have 4 ways to stack. You have 4 ways for this light to be an obstruction. It could be a blockage, aka congestion. Okay, it could be scattered. Okay, it could be scattered, aka we'll call the scattered. I'm gonna call the scattered. Okay, spreading. That's what I'm gonna call it, spreading. Okay, it can spread. I like scattered, but it can spread. Now the thing is, which one of these is your problem? Do you know? Which one of these is your problem? That's what I want to ask y'all. Do you know which one of these is your problem? Which one of these waters is your problem? So when you're looking at the owner's manual, this is what the information that we're offering without knowing the waters and the problem. So these are the 4 things that can happen to the waters. So what are the waters? You got blood, you got lymph, intracellular fluid, extracellular, interstitial, cerebrospinal fluid, synovial and seminal fluid, right? So these are the 7 waters of the body, the 7 Pleiades, the 7 things that you got to worry about every season of your life. Because again, remember that we're looking at flood season and then we're looking at harvesting and reaping. That's the only 3 seasons in ancient Kemet that they had. They had a flood season, and then they had a season of sowing and a season of reaping. A flood season, a season of sowing, and a season of reaping. It was 3 seasons back then. Okay, so now you must understand this understanding. If you get it from nature, you can understand your biology. From cosmology, you can understand how to live through nature. So here it is. So now we say, okay, well, he said that these people learn about the seasons well enough to know when to go to high tide during the flood, when to get your ass into the mountains and in the hills when the flood came, and then when to get your ass down and descend from the mountain. Ascending and descending, ascending and descending. Somebody please help me today. Ascending and descending. I'm teaching you guys this for the last couple of days. Ascending and descending is the thing that you must do. And it ain't about you doing it at the same time. It's about you understanding the importance of being able to do them, period. It is not about a same time thing. You can't ascend and descend at the same time. So what you do first is you descend, remembering that you come from the Most High. So you must belong to the Most High state. If you belong to the Creator, then you come from the high. That means you are got to learn descending first. And so when the Bible comes and introduces itself in the form of Genesis, it's telling you that you are the descendant of something. Because it's trying to teach you how to descend. If you come from God, then your job is to learn how to come off that most high understanding and sometimes come down and meet earth where it's at. Meet the mechanisms and the mechanicism of earth. Okay, so you got to be able to come down and ground and then go back up and inspire and come back down and ground and go back up and aspire and come back down and ground and go back up and aspire. And this is the effortless flow. This is the ease of flow between this connection. And when you have a obstruction in that ease of flow, then they call it dis-ease. But when you get it at ease, aka your owner's manual, when you get this flow back at ease, then it's very, very critical. Now, here's the thing. I can show you what waters you're dealing with. Okay, so if you're dealing with hypertension, matter of fact, you guys could just put it in the chat if you want to. You guys keep tapping out, keep talking. We're live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Please go tell somebody to go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. All right. So now we get into the finite understanding of what really is going to be the problem. How we balance our 7 waters. Okay, so we have problems that's going to rise in our blood. We got problems that can arise in the lymph. We got problems that can arrive in our intracellular, extracellular fluid. We got problems that can arise between the cells in our interstitial. We got problems that can arise in every area of our bodies. But the waters and how we emotionally can calm these. But then also, what are we offering in the herbal kingdom that can also aid us in our chaos or in our tumultuous waters? And we're going to talk about the herbs as well. Okay. So once you guys get us up to 100,000 likes, guess what? I got the herbs for y'all too. All right. So now the blood. The blood is what they call the fire river. Okay. It is your fire river. All right. We already know some of the functionalities of the blood, but the blood carries your oxygen, your nutrients. It is iron heavy. It's about your hormones. It's about your immune cells. It distributes all of the biophotonic light through your blood. Okay. But a lot of people don't know they got a problem in this water. Okay. So therefore, how you going to fix it if you don't know which water is causing the turbulence? Now, remember, we got the 7 waters and we got the 7 deadly emotions. Let me put these over here too. Okay. So you got the 7. I ain't going to put them up there. We'll write them later. The 7 deadly emotions are the things that are causing the turbulence in these particular waters. Okay. So as you're going through this season of things, if you don't get down pat nature quite, I'm going to say, If you don't come into this paradigm and understand how to learn about nature too, you're learning about the human nature, the programming. The programming is the human doing, but the deprogramming is the human being. The programming is the human doing. I'm not a human doing. Okay? That ain't my name. A human doing is not my name, but that's the program. The program is to come into this paradigm and have you busy doing. So you never are being or becoming. Well, put it like this, you never are being, you're always becoming. When you're a human doing, you always got to become richer, got to become this. I got to go get this paperwork, that paperwork, this money, go to this level, because you don't know nothing about just being you. And that's sufficient enough. Because you have never been able to be taught how to be relevant within nature. What do you bring to the service of humanity without a paycheck, without a job, without somebody paying you? Could you still service humanity to make a living? I could. I can. If you drop money right now, I got a skill set that can still provide for my family. And I've been living off this, so I know that this is real. So we're being programmed into being human doings, and in the doing, you start to create the turbulence and the chaos within the waters. Because in the doing is when we start doing shit to one another. In the doing is when we look at life as just a workout until you die. When we're doing, we're never being, and we're never in the present moment to feel the essence of abundance without you moving a finger. See, if you come into the paradigm and get programmed long enough, you'll think because you was born in the woods that you poor. If you stay here long enough, you'll think your tribalism and your wood life and your forest life means that you don't have no money. It's only up to the elders. It's only up to how they keep you away from this bullshit as long as you can keep that mindset. But if you ever get introduced to modern life, modern this, you'll think that the life you've always known, there's lack in it. And that's the difference between the human doing and the human being. We've been taught that the lack is within ourselves, because if you're not on the world system, then you ain't shit. And that's the lie. But you got to be able to be you, and that you who you are has to be of service to somebody else in order for you to make a living. This is just how a TI is. So they got us busy human doing, and with the human doing, because you're really not naturally designed for this. This is a unnatural programming. Human doing is unnatural. Human being is God created. It's the design, it's the frame that he created you in. So now just understand the stress between a human doing versus a human being. So you're coming into the paradigm with programmed to be a human doing, and you never ever become the human being that you can be able to get from nature if you go bypass your instructions of human life from man. You keep trying to go to man to tell you how to live this life. No, go to nature. And nature will say, look, I'm feeding the trees. What the trees eat, and they live longer than you, and they ain't never worked a job. They ain't never went and killed nobody. They ain't never went and got no water. They ain't never went to walk down the street. They ain't had to do nothing to get longevity, because they're just being a tree. They're not trying to do shit else. But you human being is trying to do something else than be a human. And that is disturbing your waters. It is disturbing your internal waters. Now, I'm going to tell you that we got something on earth. God, thank you for the blessing, because there's always a ram in the bush. So we got something that can handle the waters, which is why Dr. Sebi is one of the #1 herbalists on the planet, because he understood how to calm the waters within the system. And we know the same thing. We know the same thing. So when you're looking at this particular thing, understand that these are the waves of life, and you must learn how to swim or float during these times. When you got a low tide, swim, my darling. I ain't mad at you. But when you got high tide, you got to be able to get out of the way. and understanding that after the flood of emotion, after the flood of life, after the flood of things happening to you, those sufferings will leave behind some opportunity for you to transform your life. And we're going to teach you what about this today. So if you got, how many people are dealing with high blood pressure? How many people know somebody dealing with stroke? How many people, put some ones in the chat. Ones in the chat if you know somebody dealing with hypertension, stroke and aneurysm, heart attack, high cholesterol, inflammatory disorders, diabetes, blood sugar dysregulation, autoimmune flares, sepsis, okay, anemia, sickle cell anemia, any kind of iron deficiency, any kind of anemic deficiency. Put some ones in the chat. Leukemia, cellular fire malfunction, meaning that you're with blood cancer, okay? Anybody know somebody dealing with blood stuff? Put some ones in the chat. Put some ones in the chat. Okay? If you are dealing with anything like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, if you're dealing with any inflammatory disorders, if you're dealing with any kind of autoimmune flares up like lupus and all that types of stuff, if you're dealing with low iron, sickle cell anemia, leukemia, stroke, aneurysm, then these right here, the waters, it's the blood. Okay? It's the blood. Now watch this. Watch this now, because I'm finna teach you today. Watch this now. So now we know it's the blood. You got to know what's in and outside of the cell. Okay? So now that we know it's the blood, we just got to find iron to figure out exactly where iron is. Is it on the inside or is it on the outside? Is this stuff intracellular or is it extracellular? Okay, so we know synovial fluid is extracellular, cerebral spinal fluid is extracellular, interstitial is extracellular. But then what about the blood and what is these things? So you got to know the minerals. Okay, we know this with your owner's manual for that little funky measly $50. We just trying to show you. We got it down to a science. It's all about practicality at this point. It's not about, oh, we don't know. And even the folks, look, I'm going to tell y'all this, man. These people know this stuff too. I know it. They know it. The only person that don't know it is you. Okay? Let me repeat that for my TikTok fans out there. These people know this stuff, man. Okay? If I know it, they know it. It's out there. The only person that don't know this stuff is you. The person who's living in the body. The doctors know this, but it's not their way. Treatment is the way. Okay. So I'm not coming up with something that they don't know. Is that what money is into it to cure you? And if you don't know, then your ignorance creates industry, and that's your fault. It's your responsibility. That's how they look at it as. There's nobody else. We were just talking about that a while ago. Me and my wife and now, where they gave her some papers, but she just never read them a couple of days ago and like down. But them folk gonna give you your papers. If you read them, you read them. If you don't, you don't. But you can't blame the doctor because we gave it to you. Right? So you got to understand this game. Okay. They give you the information. It's up to you to be able to do it. Okay. So now we already know what's intracellular and extracellular. We already got the herbs for it too. Okay. So so we looking for iron. Iron is down here, iron Fe, if y'all didn't see that. And the green means what? Intracellular. So now I understand really quick that the blood, this is going to be inside the cell. The man, I already know that. So now what's happening inside the cell? Okay. Yeah, we know that it's the blood because of hypertension, high blood sugar, this, that, and the third. But now what is it? Is it blockage? Is it scattered? Is it stagnation? Is it burnout? And that's all going to depend on what you got going on. Most of the time when you get a little thickness in there, though, what? That's going to cause stagnation. Okay? So these waters a lot of times get stagnant because they're thick. And then they're going to cause congestion and so on and so on, okay? So if you're dealing with high blood pressure, diabetes, aneurysms, all that stuff we just named, we know that it's intracellular. We know what herbs to give you because I just showed you that. And then on top of that, we know where the waters, the problem, what waters is this person dealing with? Okay, what waters? And then fire is also going to let me know the constitution as well. It could be some burnout here. Okay, All of this stuff, you know. All right. Second is going to be the lymph. The lymph is going to be what? The lymph is going to be the water of purification. Okay, so you got the river of fire, and then you got the water of purification. All right, so this whole lymph system is about detoxification, you guys. It's about your immune transport, and it's about your emotional filtration, because a lot of the debris that comes from our chemical reactions from our emotions are going to be garbage canned up by the lymphatic system. Okay, so this system is all about getting that garbage up out of you. Okay, but when obstructed, right, when you got stagnation in this particular thing right here, you can be dealing with a certain amount of things. So now here we go. Yeah, blood clots, all that type of stuff. That's what we're talking about. We know exactly what you're dealing with. So we know how to go outside the cell, or we know how to go inside the cell to deal with what we need to. We know where to go and why we need to go there. Okay. So if you guys know somebody dealing with lymphedema, right? So we're dealing with the lymph now, right? So if you're dealing with lymphedema, okay? Lymphedema, chronic infections, immune disorders, autoimmune diseases, allergies, tonsils, and all this adenoid swelling, and all this old, your lymph node swelling. You know what I told y'all about that, right? Skin disorders, even. So a lot of people are talking about alopecia, and talking about vitiligo, and talking about eczema and psoriasis and acne. Remember that I told you, if it produces a bump, or if it's doing all that mucusy type of stuff, that's lymphatic. Okay. Cellulite is lymph stagnation. Edema, swelling, is lymph stagnation. So if you got a puffy face and swollen joints, you're dealing with these waters. Okay? You're dealing with these waters. But we know what herbs to give you for these waters. Okay? We understand the herbs that are needed for the lymphatic system. And again, we're going to give you those things based on the chart that I just showed you. So here it is again. We're going to give you this chart one more time. Let me see if I can pull it back up. All right, for my YouTubers, all I'm doing is just putting them a panacea blend up here that's talking about the intracellular, extracellular. Okay, these are the 13 herbs that we work with in your owner's manual. Okay, these are the 13 magical herbs. Again, you don't need a whole lot of herbs if you got a good system, you guys. People use a lot of herbs because they don't know what's going to work for you. People lose a lot of herbs because they're using 4 and 5 and 10 books, and they just putting all the shit that they learned from Laila Africa, from Paul Gauss, from Dr. Sabi, from goddamn it, from goddamn what, from Phyllis Light, from Rosemary Glad Star. They just put all that shit together and give it to you and hope that it works. Okay, but when you really know what you're doing, you know the powerful herbs that you need, and you know the unique way and be able to utilize them in order for them to be able to help you get over the reciprocity. Okay, so we know all of these things, you guys. All right, we know what is going to get you past this particular point, and what we're trying to do is just introduce to you the understanding of these things. Okay, the understanding of them, because without the understanding, you really don't know a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand that, again, when this is stagnated, you get those things. When it's overloaded, that's when you get the fibromyalgia. That's when you get the chronic fatigue. That's when you get the chemical sensitivity. Okay? That's when you get these autoimmune disorders, is when your lymph is out of whack and get out of balance. Okay? So you must understand that. We're going to give you the herbs for that in a second. I'm going to show you which herbs on this list that helps with that. All right, let me minimize this and just keep it popping. You guys keep tapping, I'll keep talking. All right, so the next one is going to be your intracellular fluid. All right, so this is your ATP production, where you get your energy. This is where your enzyme reactions and your DNA and RNA activity resides, and this is where your nutrient absorption is also, because this is the life inside the cell. And the life inside the cell is one of the most important things, because this is where we get a lot of things like cancer, a lot of the DNA issues, genetic issues, mitochondrial dysfunction, metabolic syndrome. So, we talk about the metabolic syndrome. That's when your waist is over 40. inches, that's when you got high triglycerides. Okay, that's when you got high cholesterol. That's when you got high blood sugar, high blood pressure. If you got 3 out of those 5, you got metabolic syndrome. Okay, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, early aging comes from what we're doing intracellularly. Okay, again, this is stuff that Dr. Sebi knew, and I'm gonna show you the herbs that help out with that, that are part of that 13 that you're seeing. Okay, and so again, also this is what comes in with neurodegeneration. Right, and when you're dehydrated, okay, when you're dehydrated, this also is going to affect the intracellular, because this is where muscle cramps can come in, low energy production, poor detoxing, a hormonal imbalance, oxidative stress can all come from this being dried out, the intracellular part of you. Okay, so but we know that based on those things that you got going on. So when you tell me your issue, we know if it's intracellular, extracellular, we know what we got to do. Okay, so if you're dealing with things that are extracellular, okay, extracellular is going to be things outside the cell. Again, this is your nutrient exchange. Okay, this is your oxygen delivery. All right, this is your communication between cells. Okay, so very, very simple. All right, when you have stagnation in the extracellular outside the cell, you can be dealing with swelling, again, edema, chronic inflammation, high blood pressure, electrolyte imbalance. Okay, fibrosis also can be a thing of things happening extracellularly, the hardening of tissues. All right, your biofilm build up. Okay, your pH imbalance could all be extracellular. Okay, and again, we got the herbs for that. We're going to talk about that once we get to 100K. You keep tapping, I'll keep talking. All right. So, but the pollution of that particular environment, because extracellular is the environment. To me, intracellular is the requirement, but extracellular is the environment. And environment is key to all these things. So what can affect the environment extracellular that's causing us some of these blood pressure, blood sugar, all this old crazy stuff that we're dealing with? Well, heavy metals. Okay, heavy metals stored in your tissues can start causing these problems. Microplastics. A lot of people are not talking about these plastics in our food. You keep going to the farmer's market, you keep going to the grocery store, you're buying meat wrapped in plastic, you're buying vegetables wrapped in plastic, you're buying water in plastic bottles, and you're buying all your food in a styrofoam and plastic. And as long as that plastic keep laying on that water, as long as that plastic keep laying on that fruit, as long as that plastic keep laying on that meat, as long as that plastic keep laying on that vegetable, then you're going to be coming down eventually with what we call bioaccumulation of microplastics. Had a brother ask me today, I heard they're putting plastic in the food in America. Shit, I see your food got plastic wrapped too, motherfucker. So long as they're wrapping it in plastics, they're getting this off, because it should come straight off the tree. Okay, a chemical toxicity, tissue aging, all these different things can come when the extracellular fluid gets polluted. Okay, when it gets polluted, right? So if you're dealing with those things, you already see that high blood pressure is a combination of a couple of these. Okay, and we're going to be able to help you out with that. So the interstitial fluid is going to be the hidden third space. It is the space between the cells. So you got the inside of the cell, you got the outside space, and then you got that space in between the cells, and that is called interstitial. And this accounts for about 60% of the extracellular fluid. Okay, and again, this is between your tissues, your fascia, your organs. All right, so this is all about transportation of nutrients, immune repair. It is all about fascia hydration. To make it short and simple, okay? It's all about that. But when do you know if that's the problem? How do you know that that's the problem? Okay? Well, here's the thing. If you're dealing with chronic pain, it can probably be interstitial. If you're dealing with fascia stiffness, inflammation, lymph congestion, kidney stress, puffy eyes, chronic fatigue, poor oxygenation of the tissues, myalgias like fibromyalgia, hormonal imbalances in the as far as via the fascia tension, then guess what? This could be because of the dysfunction of the interstitial fluids. So when you're looking at the interstitial breakdown, if you're dealing with a lot of aches, a lot of tightness, a lot of swelling, and a lot of hormonal issues, we're going to have to also get in between these cells, and that's called interstitial. Okay? It's called the interstitial. All right? All right, and then you got your cerebral spinal fluid, which obviously is going to protect the brain, protect the spinal cord. It transports your neurochemicals, and it also carries biophotons. Now, here's the good thing about this lesson, okay? This one right here is you dealing with brain issues, migraines. I'm having migraine headaches all the time, seizures. Okay, you're dealing with hydrocephalus. Okay, I don't know if y'all know what hydrocephalus is, but if you don't know, let me know, and I'll let you know. You're dealing with sciatica, spine, nerve compression, all these different things. Are you dealing with depression, anxiety, brain fog, Alzheimer's, dementia, nervous system burnout? Come on, somebody. Can't sleep, insomnia, poor memory. Come on, somebody. If you're dealing with these things, it can be quite possible that we're having some stagnation there when it comes to the cerebral spinal fluid. Okay, neurodegeneration of the brain. Again, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's even can be because the cerebral spinal fluid is stagnated, or either there's too much toxin buildup. If there's too much toxin buildup in the cerebral spinal fluid, then definitely you can see some neurodegeneration. Definitely you can see Alzheimer's, some loss of memory, and Parkinson's, and the loss of movement because of the toxin buildup in that particular place. And remember that these things are obstructions, okay? Remember that these things are obstructions. So you can get stagnation, okay? You can get swelling. You can get thickness, and you can get congestion. Stagnation, thickness, swelling, and congestion. And what we got to do is first understand what the obstruction is in which water. They ain't doing this for you in no damn hospital. They're not doing this for y'all at no doctor's office. They're not doing this for you at GNC. They're not doing this for you at the naturopathic office. The naturopathic office is just as technological as your hospital. They got all the little new gadgets they don't supposed to have. The bioresonance, the biometric system, and you get on this. All of that shit, man, ain't worth a shit. Because them folk know technology, you need somebody that knows nature. That's all I'm saying. You need somebody that knows the ancient technology, not modern technology. What is the ancient technology? Ancient shit. Look, you done forgot way more than you can ever discover. And by the time you start discovering shit, you realize you're rediscovering shit you already forgot about. You done forgot way more than you can ever discover. And when you go back into the drawing board, when you go back to the essence of who you are, you'll start seeing that there's buttons there that you just didn't know were there, and you need to push them to see what they do. I want to push all the buttons in this spacesuit before if I got to depart. I want to see all my possibilities, all of my opportunities, everything that I can do and set out to get. I want to maximize and expand and evolve who I am as a person. And we do this by knowing ourselves. Okay? So we understand the obstruction, we understand the pollution, and we eradicate it. We get it up out of us, plain and simple. Okay? We get it up out of there, plain and freaking simple. Okay? So now when you're looking at the Honest Man, right, and how we are using the herbs, okay, right here as far as the panacea herbs. Remember, you guys, all we use is 13 herbs. If you're just getting here, all we use is 13 herbs, okay? If a person is giving you 15, 20 herbs, they simply don't know how to cure you. And they're putting 4 and 5 books together to make their concoction instead of having a system where they're understanding exactly what herbs do, why they do what they do, and what you need to do. So now, we talked about the blood, okay? The fire river, right? So now if you're having blood issues, then you must understand what this water needs. Okay? You got to get what the water needs. And that's what I'm trying to tell you about the owner's manual. If you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM us and somebody will get you the information that you need. But with this owner's manual now, it's starting to identify which waters are chaotic. And also it's gonna let us know what herbs we need for those waters. So what this water needs, what the fire river needs, what the blood needs, is it needs to circulate. So it's going to need circulators. It needs blood cleansers. It needs iron mobilizers. It needs oxygen enhancers. That I'm telling you what the blood needs. Now you can go do your research if you think you know what herbs are there, but how about we already know? You see? And so we give you herbs like burdock to be a blood purifier, and it removes the waste from the blood. We give you the yellow docks and the barberry roots and the blessed thistles and the nettles and the valerian. Why? Because we know what they do for the blood. We know that barberry root is an antimicrobial blood cleanser. You needed that. We know that the yellow dock is an iron mobilizer. You needed that. Remember? We know that blessed thistle increases circulation. You needed a circulator. We know that nettle is iron rich. You needed a blood builder. We know that valerian is going to come in and lower tension and relax the blood vessels. You needed that in order to have what the blood needed. But you got to know that this ain't for everybody. So we got to know what you need, and that's where your birthday comes in, and that's why the owner's manual is the number one thing popping. Drinking me some burdock, nettle, and hibiscus now. Okay, what are the iron mobilizers? I just told you what the iron mobilizers are, okay? But there are plenty of other herbs other than the ones that I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you about what I utilize. So don't utilize my stuff unless you're utilizing the owner's manual. But you can go and Google what I just told you, and then you get a plethora of herbs, and then you figure out if you want the herb or not. Just don't go off the herb I mentioned. So don't go off my herbs, go off of the action. So you did right. You said, what are the iron mobilizers? But instead of asking me, ask Google. I gave you the word for you to Google. I gave you iron mobilizer. Now I did half the battle. Okay? I did half the battle. Because I don't want you to get this thing. You can't isolate what I'm doing. My stuff is not in isolation. It's in holism. So even though I'm telling y'all what I'm doing, you can't isolate it because it doesn't operate in isolation. The owner's manual is I'm a holistic practitioner. Everything that I'm teaching you is about how to work in a oneness and a holism. So if you don't have all the information and you're just trying to take the herbs that I say, they're not going to work the way that I'm telling you because there's other things that come to play. Okay? And so I don't want to lie to y'all and make it sound fly to y'all. If you just listen to me and try to take these herbs, it may not work for you because these herbs and what I'm teaching you are part of a system and it can't be isolated. And the modern medicine of today is reductionist medicine, right? It reduces, it isolates, but that's why we're not healing and that's why we're not working. And I'll be down to come into this particular paradigm and be a direct, I'm going to say, competition with modern medicine and do what they do. I'm not going to diagnose you the same. I'm not going to take and receive their diagnosis. I'm not going to take anything from them. I'm going to take everything from nature. Again, we're going to people who are very good at laboratory and technology, but who knows nature? And if you're trying to come back to nature, if you're kind of trying to come back to herbs and trying to come back to some grounding and really trying to figure out who you are in life and trying to come back to God in a sense, then be as pure as you possibly can and rip away some of the modern technology and exchange it for ancient technology. Okay? So instead of looking for somebody who's smart on pushing computer buttons, instead of looking for somebody who got a biology metric thing, look for somebody who knows how to read light energy without the machine, who knows your 9 colors from your infrared to your ultraviolet without being able to have to put a bioresonance machine on you. Now, here's the thing. I bought one. I got one. That was one of my first investments. So I know what we're doing in these herb shops. I got iridology machine. I got a bioresonance machine. I got everything. But then I'm like, okay, I'm good at the machine, but I ain't good at nature. I wouldn't know now one of these lights that they shine out here in my motherfucking face. I just know the computer, the programming. I don't know now one of these motherfucking herbs if I was out in the forest. I just know programming, reading the book. But you learn more when you grow in garden. You learn more when you see the herb itself. So I had to come all the way to South Africa and go to HerbMan to see all these different herbs. And if you guys know me long enough, you'll see the pictures from that, right? Because that was years ago. But I had to get my feet wet in it instead of just learning about it. It's the practicality of it, the experience from it. Okay? So when you're looking at the blood summary, then burdock, yellow dot, nettle are going to be your core blood medicines, okay? Barberry is going to come in and clear the polluted blood, and milk thistle is going to support the liver, okay? And it's going to be a blood cleanser. We give you that right here, what you're watching right here. I don't know how to put my finger, but y'all know where it's at right now. We give you that, okay? We give you all that. Now, if you look at that, and then we go over here and look for these herbs, you got nettles, you got burdock, yellow dot, you got barberry are all what? Intracellular. Intracellular. Why? Because the iron, you got more iron being produced inside the cell than outside the cell. Okay? You see that? So we already know now, we know exactly what you got going on. We know it's inside the cell, and we know what herbs to give you off the rip. Now let's go to lymph. Okay? So we're trying to show you that not only can we can assess you in this way, but those 13 herbs that we provide for you is the reason why. We already done the research. We're not guessing. It doesn't matter what you come to me with. They said I got cryptolita lungus. They said I got pudolita fungus. They said I got punta cana tintis. It don't matter what the goddamn adjectives or verbs you use. We got a system. Okay? And you can scare the herbalist with those goddamn words. But you can't scare me. Okay? You can't scare me. Don't rush me. I tell you what horsetail do, Danny. Listen. Pay attention. Don't speed me up. Lymph is number 2. Okay? This is, again, the water of purification. What does this water needs? Got to be the next question. What does my lymph need? Well, you need movers. You got to have some lymph movers. You got to have also some anti-inflammatory herbs. You got to have some immune modulators. Okay? For you guys out there aspiring to be herbalists, you got to know what these people need when they got this problem. Okay? So again, we give you the herbs like blue vervain is going to help clear your lymph and the stagnation, especially if you got it in the neck and chest. Right? So then so the neck and chest meaning respiratory. Then some of y'all got this little, stuff all caught up in your throat. Well, blue y'all don't want to get it. Nettle is going to reduce inflammation. Blessed thistle is going to increase metabolic clearing. Irish moss that we give you is going to hydrate the lymphatic channels. The bladderwrack is going to mineralize the lymph. Okay, yes, it's going to support the thyroid and the lymph flow, but we got the herbs for your lymph. So now, in summary, the blue vervain is the number 1 lymph mover. Other than you got red clover, you got blue vervain, red clover. You got what was my baby? Dog, I forgot my little herb, man, that I always used to use, but I haven't used it in a long time. But I would depend on that herb every now and then. I would just do my thing with it, but it was very good at moving lymph, and I would use it periodically. But herbs like that are going to be things that can help move the lymph. So blue vervain, all right, it's going to be that. Irish moss and bladderwrack is going to help hydrate and remineralize the lymph system. And then nettle and thistle is going to help come in with inflammation control and drainage. Again, this is just part of it. It's not all of it. But we're just showing you, because remember when we went down that list, blood pressure was connected to a few of these. I'm just showing you that we'll know what it is that you need. And we already got these herbs that are going to work for all of these problems. We did the research already. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, please DM us. and we'll get you the information that you need. Okay, so we're already there, you guys. Okay, so now when dealing with the lymph, and I just told you about those herbs. Now let me pull back up this thing so you'll see it. Are those intracellular or extracellular? Okay, I know y'all want to see that. Oh, they intracellular. All right, so you got the Irish moss and the bladderwrack works intracellularly and extracellularly. Okay, the blue vervain, the nettles, and the thistle. So you got nettle can work intracellularly and extracellularly. You got the blessed thistle that works intracellularly. Okay, so then you'll see that extracellular. I'm sorry. So you'll see that this is going to be more of an extracellular situation. The lymph outside. Intracellular, here we go. We're going to fill this out. Okay, inside, outside. All right, and it's a combination of a few different things that's going to be able to do it. Okay, what I'm telling you is that we already got this stuff down packed to how you use it. All right, let me move this out the way and keep on teaching you. All right, so third is going to be what we got next is going to be intracellular. Okay, so this is the life inside the cell. This is very important if you're dealing with cancers. Cancer is the number one projected disease on the planet, along with autoimmune disease. So it is very incumbent upon you to understand the waters when we're dealing with this and understand really how to deal with this particular situation, because the life inside the cell is very important to mutation. It's very important to, they don't even know how to keep up with that functionality. They're just trying to. Okay, now you got to ask the question of, what does this water need? This water needs minerals. It needs ATP enhancers, things that will help you produce energy, help it produce energy. It also needs antioxidants to watch out for the free radicalism, antioxidative stress, and it also needs oxygen transport or oxygen transporters. Okay, now how do you give your intracellular fluids these things that it needs? You got to know what herbs. And with your owner's manual for a funky measly $50, we got this down packed for you. Because the bladderwrack is going to give you the iodine and the mitochondrial function. The Irish moss is going to give you the potassium, the calcium, the magnesium, and all of the intracellular hydration. The hydrangea root, you didn't know that, right? It dissolves crystallization inside tissues. The skull cap that we use is going to reduce cellular oxidative stress, which I just said we need. And the valerian is going to do what? The calming of the hormones that damage cells so that you don't get that dysfunction. Okay? All of that is on this list right here. Okay? You guys got to know that. Now, extracellular is going to be outside the cell. Everybody knows that. This is the ocean outside the cell. I like to call this the environment. So if the intracellular is going to be requirement, then the extracellular is going to be environment. And we know that environment, to me, is the number one key. So this is the ocean between the cells. What does this water need? It needs electrolyte balance. It needs a tissue detoxification program. And it needs pH balance support. How do you give it that? Well, the burdock root is going to help clear the toxins in the extracellular matrix. The hydrangea root that we've been talking about helps break down these hardened tissues and biofilm. The barberry that we've mentioned earlier with the berberine is going to help kill microbes in your extracellular space. The yellow dock that we mentioned is going to improve waste removal through the liver. That helps clear the matrix. Okay, the Irish moss that be in your blend, it helps balance extracellular electrolytes. So you got those herbs helping with what? All of those things that your water needs. I don't know who else got this system out there. I don't know who else understand, but you got to be able to put this thing together, man. And it's the best system on the planet when you're talking about healing people. Okay, it is what Dr. Sebi and the greats knew: how to calm the waters, how to maintain the waters, how to get rid of the turbulence in the waters of life. Okay. So next here, number 5 here, you guys keep tapping, I'll keep on talking. You guys, let's get us up to 100K. You keep tapping, I'll keep on talking. Get us up to 100K. We're coming live from South Africa, live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Get somewhere, get situated. I am your homie HerbMan. Nobody teaches you better than me. We're teaching you the simplest way to heal thyself, and we're healing you through spirit and science. This is the way we do it. If you're interested in the owner's manual, please DM us and we'll get you the information that you need for your little funky measly 50 bucks. It is worth a lifetime investment. We're getting you to get your health back into your own hands. You're the one that's responsible. Everybody knows this information but you, and you're the one that needs to know it. All right. So now let's keep it going. The interstitial fluid, okay, is going to be what we call the hidden third space. It is the hidden third space of the waters within. Okay. Now, what does this water need? What does the interstitial fluid need in order for it to function properly? It has to have fascia hydration. A lot of people don't know about this fascia. Go do your research on the fascia. I told you, it moves faster than your nervous system. Fascia moves faster than your nervous system. Biophotons move faster. They move at the speed of light. So when you're getting this fascia that interacts with this biophotonic communication, Lord have mercy, you got things that are happening way before they happen within you. And we need to use that in your time of need. So this fascia hydration, inflammation reduction, and circulation is what this water needs. Fascia hydration, inflammation reduction, and circulation is what this water needs. So how are you going to get that? If a herbalist don't know how to give you these things, then they just at the seat of their pants, because Dr. Laila Africa didn't teach this. Okay? Dr. Sabi didn't teach this. So then how you going to get it? You're going to be fumbling in all of them herbs, and you ain't going to be nothing but a carbon copy. We're talking about stepping up, evolving, meaning that you got to be endowed with something special. And God ain't going to give you somebody else's book. He's going to give you something for you to give to the world. And this is what we're presenting. Okay? This is what we're presenting. So now, the blue vervain that we talked to you guys about, guess what? It helps relax the fascia. It helps drain the interstitial fluid. The nettle that we're talking about helps reduces interstitial inflammation. The burdock clears the water between the tissue. The iris mouse hydrates the fascia. The horsetail gives you that silica that you need to restore fascia elasticity. Okay? So you automatically know that your interstitial summary is what? Those herbs that help out with that fascia. These kids don't know that. And these adults don't know this stuff. They're fumbling and they're running around using every herb on the book because nobody gave it to them their own self. That's all I'm trying to get you to understand. What I'm giving you, you got to get it from me. You can't go to YouTube and find this. You can't go to nowhere and find it. Until I upload it, it ain't there. And that's where we need to be when we're evolving. You need to be the show. You need to be the topic. You need to, if you don't open your mouth, they don't hear it. If you don't do it, they don't see it. And when you understand your value that you bring to community, then you'll stop doing a lot of this self-harm and you'll start being able to rise a little bit higher in consciousness. Now, so the next one is the cerebral spinal fluid. This is the fluid of consciousness. Okay, this is the fluid of consciousness and of light. What does this fluid need? This water needs nervous system nutrition. It needs anti-inflammatories. And it definitely needs minerals, baby. It needs to have a mineral balance. So how are you going to give your cerebral spinal fluid nervous system nutrition if the people that you're working with don't know this? How are you going to give your nervous system anti-inflammatory and mineral balance when your people don't know this? Go over there, please. Y'all making too much noise. You see what I'm doing? So go in the bed. I do all of that. I do the stocking. You know, okay, so now you got to understand that, right? So now, skull cap. A lot of people ain't heard about the skull cap, but the skull cap we give is primarily going to be a cerebral spinal fluid nervine. It calms, it protects the brain. Okay, the valerian that we're giving you, it reduces the pressure and the tension and improves cerebrospinal fluid circulation. Okay, the blue vervain that we give you is all about the neck and upper spinal tension release, which improves cerebrospinal fluid flow. The Irish moss is going to fuel your glial cells. Okay, with what minerals? You need a mineral balance. And the bladderwrack is going to come in as iodine and be help you with the brain metabolism. You need to understand brain metabolism because you need to understand the glymphatic system. The glymphatic system is going to be very, very big in this scenario. And so now you have herbs that help out with that. Okay. And then last but not least is going to be your synovial. All right. And your seminal fluid. This is the synovial is going to be the life of the joints. Obviously, the seminal is going to be the life of reproduction. Okay, but what this water needs is when you're looking at the synovial fluid, is you guys are dealing with arthritis, you're dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, you're dealing with all these osteoarthritis and all this stuff, but you don't know what that fluid needs. It needs joint lubrication, anti-inflammatory support, and cartilage nourishment. Where you gonna get them at in the herbs? What one of them children know? So the horsetail is silica. It rebuilds cartilages and synovial line. The bladderwrack is the iodine needed for the minerals of the joint lubrication. The Irish moss is going to create the mucilage, which is the lubrication. The nettle is going to reduce what? Joint inflammation. The burdock is going to do what? Support the joint detox. It's all in these herbs. Okay. So again, we've done all I'm trying to get you to understand is that we've done the research. You get your owner's manual, let this shit work for you, man, and do what it needs to do for you and your livelihood so that you can be able to understand that somebody got it, and somebody is trying to do it for the greater good of humanity. Okay. This is not rocket science, you guys. They know this as well. Okay. They know this as well. These are your 7 waters. You must keep them in balance. And if you don't keep them in balance, these are going to be the things that create the disease. Okay? Just the bottom line. These are going to be the things that create the disease. Okay? Now, what creates the disease is going to be how well you balance these waters and you keep them away from these things up here. Congestion. You don't want any blockages in your water, because that's going to congest the light coming through. The light coming through is information, right? So remember that the mules are light and water. So you got to make sure that you understand how to do this water thing. So this is what takes you back to chemistry. This is what takes you back to the swimming lessons of life. This is what takes you back to understanding balance and cohesiveness, right? Is that you must understand these waters. So at the end of the day, it is a balancing act of these. But why is it? It's because the more I'm able to balance my waters, I'm able to keep the light clear. And when I'm able to keep the light clear, I'm able to have clarity. I get direction. When I get direction, I'm no longer lost in any situation that arises. And that's the simple truth. Okay? So that's the real fundamental principle of keeping your waters clear, is just to be able to receive and maximize the light absorption. Okay, remember that we reflect and absorb light. And so you can't reflect half-ass. Well, you're going to reflect half-ass light if that's all you get. And so when you understand all the things that are obstructing us, when we come out our emotions, when we're looking at our external environment, our life, our work, our jobs, our lifestyle, our families, etc., we're looking at pollutions, toxins, and processed foods, and all this stuff is coming up against the light that's within us. And so once you understand, look, there's a battle between darkness and light that you must understand how to keep. The darkest place on you is inside of you. Okay, everything else about you gets light. Your clothes get light on it, your toes get light on it. But the one thing about you is your internal organs. How do they receive the light? And it's through your foods, it's through how you think, it's through how you act, it's through how you feel, it's through what you drink that's going to provide the light, which is AKA the information and the instructions that your cells need to carry out the mobility and do the things that you want them to do. And so my thing is to you, for you to understand constantly that you're in heaven. If I'm in heaven, what needs to be blocked or congested? If I'm in heaven, what needs to be scattered or spread? If I'm in heaven, what needs to stagnate or get thick in me? If I'm in heaven, what needs to burn out or swell? Okay? I can help with anything. Alice, can't you see? I can help you with anything. I don't give a damn what it is. The question is, can you help yourself with that? And if you can help yourself with that, then you got the right energy for me to work with you. Okay? But if you're trying to get somebody to raise Lazarus out of the grave, come on now. You got to get enough energy to raise up out of that grave. If you got the energy, I got the time to work with you, and we can make things happen. You just need the energy, because there's going to be a lot of things that you got to do, and it's not going to be things that are going to be overly complicated. They're just going to be things that need to be implemented, and it needs to be implemented in your. I'm not going to take an excuse of a job when somebody's got pancreatic cancer. I'm not going to take an excuse of your family when you're dealing with a terminally ill situation. So you got to understand me. I'm not going to allow you to make excuses, because you have to think about yourself and your time of need. If you still trying to smoke, drink, work, and do all this shit when you finna die, go ahead. I ain't the one for you. Go call somebody else, because I can't be around you and while you thinking something else is more important than you. Because if I give you my time, I ain't asking for no more money. You ain't paying nothing but $50. But if I give your ass my time, and I got children and family, then the least you can do is give yourself your time. If I can give you my time, then the least you can do is give yourself your time. And in terminal ill situations, the last thing you need to be thinking about is your bills, a job, family, friends, and all that bullshit. You need to be thinking about yourself. And if you can do that, I can work with you, because it's going to be easier. And we're going to have you in the right mindset, and we're going to have you in the right atmosphere, and we're going to have you around the right support, that when I tell your ass to laugh today, even though ain't shit funny, you're going to be able to laugh without feeling no kind of way. If I tell your ass to dance today and ain't nothing to dance about, you're going to have an environment that's conducive of producing this shit, even when the medicines can't, even when the herbs can't produce it. If I can get you to feel some kind of way of being happy today, despite your situation, we can produce the medicine for today. And then we go on tomorrow to something else. So I need you to be able to have this environment that's saying, okay, this man is going to take me back to my nature. It's not going to be shit I got to buy. It's just going to be everything I got to try. And it's going to be all the things that I got to try within myself. All the buttons and all the little things that I ignored about myself, and that I swept under the rug, and that I hid behind my career, and I hid behind my relationship, and that I hid behind my children, and that I hid behind all these things. They got to come out to play. And then when they come out to play, the real you become tantalated again. And then you get this vigoration to live. When you get this vigoration to live, it ain't just a mental thing. That thing produces chemicals that tell the cells to live. And then all that dying thing that's in you starts to get outnumbered. The death cell starts to get outnumbered from life cell. And now we have what we need to win the war. So you need to have the environment to work with me. Again, it's not expensive. It's just that you got to do it. So that means that I got to get you to get this thing into practicality. We can't say I work at night, HerbMan, I ain't going to be able to do it. Then I'm not for you. Okay? I'm not for you. We can't be using excuses when we sick. And we can't use excuses when we broke. And we can't use excuses when we're not living the life that we want to live. If you're a god, a king, or a queen, you should not be complaining at all. You should be able to find the right people, find the right places and things, because that's from a king standpoint. That means that you got direction. Okay? A king and a queen and a god and a goddess can't be fumbling through life. Anyway, come on with it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the HerbMan Show. You guys keep tapping out, keep talking. We're almost at 100K. What questions do we got? Okay, the 7 waters. Okay, if you want to talk to me, you guys, you can't talk to me unless you got an owner's manual. Okay, if you got the owner's manual, you can talk to me. If not, I don't do free consultations. I do free education though, so you can talk to me here while I do free education, but my consultations are paid. Okay? And I don't got nothing to talk to you about until you do the consultation, because I don't take doctors' diagnosis. So I won't take what they said. Right? I won't take what they said. So now you must understand the 7 deadly emotions that can come up against this really quick, and then I'm gone. Okay? Finish this really quick, and then I'm up out of here. You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. If you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM me. If you're wanting to be a member, now you can talk to me if you want to be a member. But a member is also $4, okay? It's $3.99. To be a member, you don't have to have your owner's manual, but if you want to talk to me, $3.99, okay? That's the least you can do, is become a member, right? That way, I got you under my care and under my understanding. I ain't got time to be trying to regurgitate what your doctor said. I'm not a doctor. And if they know the problem, why can't they help you? If that's the name of it, they should find a solution. If that's really what it is, then they goddamn know what it is. They should know how to solve it. I don't go by their name, because that 9 times out of 10, it ain't really what it is. It's what the numbers say, but it don't mean that that's what it is. Everybody's different, okay? Everybody's different, right? So now you got this stress and worry that comes up against your waters, okay? You got this guilt and unforgiveness that'll come up against your waters, okay? You got this self-control that can come up against your waters and cause chaos, okay? You got this grief and depression that can start causing the waters to be chaotic, okay? You got this doubt and trust thing going on. They can start creating the imbalances in the waters, okay? You got this, what we got next? You got this delusion and loneliness that can start to fluctuate your waters, all right? And then you got this attachment or addictions, to where you starting to think you can't live without things. First, you can't live with somebody. Then you can't live without things. Then you can't trust nobody. Then everything hurt. Then you're doing anything to yourself, self-harm. Then you got the guilt and unforgiveness from what folks done to you. And then you're worried every day about livelihood and what you got to do this and do that. And what comes is, all it does is it makes your waters turbulent. And it makes this life journey more. Now, again, if you ain't taught how to swim or how to float during this lifespan, then you're going to drown in turbulent waters. This ain't just about your health. It's about your life. Y'all better listen to me. You're going to drown. This is not a recipe for everlasting life. So you'll find that when you don't know how to swim or float, and ain't nobody told you this based on the original plan of man, then guess what? Life's things and life's inventions and all this creation and all that type of stuff will overwhelm you, aka drown you in sorrow. And the end of that is the death conscious. Did you not know that everybody on the planet died from suffocation? So if you get gunshot, if you get this, that, and the third, the suffocation is from the immune response, and it overwhelms your lungs. And then aka you die from blood in the lungs, lymph in the lungs, them fluids, them waters, they drown you. If you don't be careful, one of these waters is going to drown you. You guys keep tapping. I'll keep talking. You guys keep tapping. I'll keep talking. This is why understanding this is very important. And it's time out to stop playing with our people about medications and pills and thrills and start to really get down to the nitty-gritty of what can really help us, save us, and elongate our lives. We know what it is. It's going back to God. It's going back to nature. It's getting back free, and it's getting back open to participate in this life experience along with nature and not egregious toward it. You don't have no dominion over nothing. If they didn't have that goddamn fence out there, that line will tie your ass up. You ain't got no dominion. If you didn't have no gun and that lion didn't have no fence, you wouldn't have no chance. If you didn't have no zoo and that gorilla get loose, your motherfucking ass ain't got a chance. So what dominion you got? If that bow was to come up in your motherfucking house and you didn't got no pistol, you ain't got no chance. So what dominion do you got? So, but these lion, tigers, and bears ain't just animals that you don't have control over as far as dominion over in your life, because they really are the real true predators. But these also are people, places, and things that are coming to this paradigm. And these lion, tigers, and bears are opportunities. There are folk hiding behind masks. There are all kinds of stuff, abusive, molesters, rapers, killers and murderers, all these lion, tigers, and bears, and their co-workers and their bosses and their neighborhoods and their countries and their governments. These things will come and attack you, and you got to know how to survive. You ain't got no dominion for real, until you get out of the way of the flood. Get on high ground in order to escape these things, okay? So these things are going to be the number one things that are going to create the chaotic or the turbulence water. Some of this stuff has happened since childhood. Some of this stuff has happened since adolescence. Some of this stuff has happened in your adulthood. And some of this stuff is going to happen to you in your elder statesman. But these are eventually, one of these or a couple of these or a few of these or all of them, so for Pete's sake, can start to create the burnout, the swelling, the stagnation, the thickness, the scattered, the spreading, the blockage, and the congestion that's going on in your life and in your body. Okay? So you must understand this information in order to move on. And when you get your owner's manual, we already did it for you. We already did the calculations. We already did the understanding. I just thought about this the other day. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Look at what's going on around the United States of America. I don't know if y'all can see this, but the most Googled health systems of 2024. I don't know if y'all can see this. I know my YouTubers can, unless you go over there to TikTok, but different states Google different things. But just, I don't know what state you're in, but if you can't see it, I'll blow it up for you. But just look at what you're seeing is that every state, all you're seeing is a sick workforce. It's a sick workforce that has no ending to it until these people who are working understand that you must relax. That your life is not all about a career, it's not all about a dollar bill, it's not all about that shit, man. You ain't gonna be nothing even if you get $1 million if you just set on not being nothing. But if you be somebody, regardless if you got a penny or $1 million, you're gonna still be somebody. And the dollar doesn't make you somebody. It was the idea that you want to be somebody when you had the penny. You're not gonna be better with money. You're just gonna be a worse rich person. You're not gonna be better because you get this thing or that thing. The better comes if you just want to be better at where you at now. Being better is just being better. If you get money, you do. If you don't, you don't. But you still was better. So you got Georgia right there. Look at how many folks. Georgia is dealing with congestion. Okay? And I said Georgia, you guys, because I'm from Georgia. Okay? Georgia dealing with congestion now. And as you can see the little picture down there. So y'all over there Googling like hell, why my nose running? Now remember I told you congestion, blockages. You see, YouTube can see this when TikTok can't. And TikTok can see things when YouTube can't. So when I got that little post up there on YouTube, guess what? They can't see this. You see? So even swap ain't no swindle. Okay? So now we get that in Georgia, people are dealing with congestion and blockages. I'm just saying because they Googling it, not me. I didn't say nothing about that. Okay, but then look at our neighbors, Alabama and Florida. Okay, Alabama and Florida, y'all down there dealing with what? What's the fire say? What's the fire say in the South? Hair loss. So Alabama and Florida, y'all worried about y'all goddamn hair. Nervous system issues. But we know what is circulating nutrients. What circulates nutrients for you to grow hair? The blood. It's a blood issue. Internal blood is what? The iron is what? Inside the cell. It's inside the cell. Okay. But then Alabama and Florida said we looking at hair loss, but then Tennessee and South Carolina said shit. we dealing with what? Headaches. We dealing with headaches. Okay, but then I just showed you what was a headache stemming from. Migraines and all that stemming from what? We know what's going on with you. We know what waters are going on. And again, these are the emotional things that are causing them. But look at the whole United States. There's not one state on here that ain't Google something. So you get to get a consensus of what's going on in the Midwest, in the West, in the South, in the East, in the North. But at the end of the day, you're realizing that health is a big problem across America. Okay? That's what I'm really trying to visualize to you, that people are leaning toward getting different health assessments, right? And that's fine. People are leaning on Google. They're leaning on ChatGPT. They're leaning on all kinds of things to try to figure out their own health. So you are taking it into your own hands. The only thing about it is, watch the trick. Great information, wrong application can keep you in the lost all the time. Okay? Great information. So you're Googling, you're learning, you feel like it's great information, but they can be carrying it with the wrong application. Okay? The cell salts is a great information, but cell salts is a bad fucking application. You get it? You get it. I'm just trying to teach y'all something before I tell y'all here. Just trying to teach you something. So therefore, you must understand something unique and something plain. And I'm saying these folks should have a system. The modern medical healthcare is a system. It's a system. They check you in, they take your blood, they send it off to the lab, they come back, they give you the results. And from the results, they're gonna give you some medications, they're gonna do all of the things they need to do, contingent upon the research. Okay, if you got nothing in your blood, then y'all know the doctors don't do shit for y'all, but give y'all a little something, if that. If you do got something in the blood when that blood test come back, then that's privy for them to be able to write you more and more treatments. Okay, so yeah, we did find something, so let's go do a CAT scan. Let me go send you to the specialist. Let me go write you up for this scan or for that treatment and for this prescription. Why? Because we found something. But when we don't find nothing, it's very hard for you to get anything out of the hospital. Why? Because it's a system. You can't come and rival Burger King and without a goddamn McDonald's system. You got to have a system to rival Burger King. Burger King got a system. They know where everybody come in, what to do, how to do to get these burgers out this dough. So therefore, when you come to nature, you got to have just as much intricate, robust, effective, affordable, accessible system as the modern made system in order to rival it. And that's why we ain't gonna be we ain't trying to price gouge or nothing. This is for Rico them and this is for Trump them too. And guess what? Both of y'all can afford it. This is for Rico them on the block right now. Rico them, I know y'all ain't watching me, but cuz your boy made something for you too. And the thing about it is, you and Trump pay the same amount of money for it, and both of y'all can afford it. We're not doing something for the elite when the 99% is the elites. The elites are the 99%. The elite, I don't know what that is. But we're the one that light up the world. We're the ones that's moving the pendulum. And we need to get this down so that we can start moving this pendulum into our work life. And you start getting jobs that are going to honor you being able to have to take a 10-minute break to sing, to hum, to dance, to laugh it off, to just kind of readjust and retool and reinvigorate yourself to be more productive. If the workforce is looking for more productive people and they're looking for more healthy people, then you got to get the healthcare system of today out of the way, because all y'all are doing is keeping us sick and keeping us docile and keeping us retired and keeping us living shorter lives, because all you're pushing is a human doing. What about the part of me that just want to be? Sometimes I don't want to clock in. Can I get somebody to get an amen to that? I ain't talking about you motherfuckers, because y'all don't want to clock in either. I'm talking about, can the corporation say, we understand? And you don't lose your job because you don't feel like it, because we need you to feel like it to increase the productivity. So we give days off when you don't feel like it. We give days off for don't feel like it. It ain't sick days, it's I don't feel like it days. Because you'll never be sick that many motherfucking days anyway. So call them I don't feel like it days. I give you 15 I don't feel like it days a year. Take them summer bitches and take them in order for you to understand that they necessary for you. And then take your smoke break, but stop calling it a smoke break. Call it a release break and let these folk go out for the same 10, 15 minutes. We ain't saying increase the smoke break, the same 10 to 15, but let them walk around the parking lot. Let them use a part of your facility to walk around. Let them discharge and decompress in some form or fashion. When you build a business, build a gym in that motherfucker. When you build a business, build a treadmill or build a track around that motherfucker. Use your property to the benefit of the human being, and you'll get more productivity and you'll get a healthy specimen. I want you to work past 65. I'll boost the motherfucking retirement age up. You motherfuckers gonna stay well, I'm gonna feed you well, and your ass gonna live well, but your ass gonna work till you're 90. Now, in that case, that means that we're producing longer human beings that's living longer, stronger, longer. That's all I'm trying to do, you guys, to introduce you guys to the future. You may not like me, you may not want me, but you can't stop me. And what I mean by that is the spirit of me. I come from my ancestors. There's no stopping the spirit. When this flesh leaves this body, this spirit will jump into another illuminator, another healer, another evolver that's going to keep this dynamic alive. And it ain't nothing you can do about it. Okay? Cell salts are inorganic rock salt. Your kidneys can't break down inorganic rock salt. That's what's wrong with cell salts, Felicia Rose. Okay? That's all that's wrong with cell salts. Nothing else. The formulas as far as what they do, the understanding of it. Again, great information, but your kidneys cannot digest inorganic rock salt. Okay? That's what's wrong with cell salts. All right? Any other questions? Any other questions before I get up out of here? Open-minded, thank you. Yes. Nothing we can do about it. Yes. This thing gonna keep on moving. This is not a movement. It's not a moment, it's a movement. Okay? It ain't nothing we can do about it. Somebody else is gonna come and grab it and articulate it and carry it to the next level than I can. But we're introducing it to the world. How do I purchase? DM me and we will get you the information that you need. Just simply DM me and we will get you the information that you need. All we require is a birthday, not a blood type, not a blood sample. I don't require any blood. You don't have to give me any lab reviews. We don't need no doctor's diagnosis, no self-diagnosis. I ain't gonna poke you, prick you, or prod you. There's no invasiveness or intrusiveness of any kind. You give me your birthday and let mama write all this stuff out about you, and all I ask you to do is follow mama's direction on you, because I don't know you like that. Okay, I don't know you like that to help you for real. Okay, and I don't know if you know you like that to help you for real. So even if I listen to you tell me things about you, I don't know. Some of you guys got 10 to 15 motherfucking things going on. A nigga be fucked up and confused out here listening to y'all. So I had to even confide to a system that is greater than me, because otherwise I would be using my intelligence and my intuition. And I told you, I'm good at technology too. I'll tell your ass to go get some bioresonance and get some iridology too. But at the end of the day, do I need to learn technology modern, or do I need to learn technology ancient? And so I learned ancient technology. I'm looking at my notes. You taught this a few times, so thanks. That's all. Well, the 7 waters, I taught it from a different perspective the last time, because we just talked about it from Pleiades and all that type of stuff. But I did teach about the different the waters, right? But we didn't know the herbs. I didn't necessarily give you the herbs and give you the blockages and all that type of stuff back then, because I didn't have that information. But the 7 waters is an old understanding, you guys, okay? It's just about you knowing that that's what you need to control. If there's anything that you take out of this particular lesson today, is that he's telling us that that's what we need to look out for, is our waters. It ain't, yes, I can tell you about the light, and I can come in here and teach you the light is what it is and biophoton, but that's pieces and parts of the puzzle. The real true thing is what can fuck up the light is the water. What can strengthen the light is the water. What can help the light is the waters. So it is the waters. And then you'll understand why Dr. Sebi and people like the Mexican that he went down and taught him was about the significance of these seaweeds, okay? Because the significance of these seaweeds is that they do the same thing in you that they do in the waters of the earth. So you say, well, what does the seaweeds do? You got a brown seaweed, you got the red, and you got the green. Yeah, obviously there's some others, but these are your main three: the brown, the red, and the green. Okay, but what does they do? They basically will absorb all of the carbon dioxide. The CO2 will get absorbed out of the water because they need it to produce. So just like plants need your carbon dioxide, the seaweeds take the carbon dioxide out of the ocean water, and guess what? It neutralizes the acidity. And nothing other than these emotions don't do nothing but make these waters too acidic, which cause the chaos, which causes the turbulence. So now seaweeds come in and absorb carbon dioxide out of the water for its own benefit. But it does that, and what that does is, in retrospect, it neutralizes the acidities of the water. Okay, and so you got stuff like kelp, which is what they call a brown algae. Red algae could be Irish moss. Okay, it also could be nori. Okay, and then you got the green ones. Okay, which is your chlorellas and stuff like that, right? So these are the seaweeds that are going to help cleanse and neutralize the oxidative or acidic environment of the waters so that you can swim or float better. Now, I know that when turbulent waters come, you get scared when you float. And I know that when turbulent waters come, it makes swimming a little difficult. But if you can calm the waters, then maybe you'll feel a little bit better at the attempt to swim or the attempt to float. Now, here's the thing. When you're in deep waters, you can only dog paddle for no less than 5 minutes, for no more than 5 minutes. Then your muscles going to tighten up. You're going to get tensed up. And when you do that, you can't move your limbs no more. You sink like a fat ass rock. So in turbulent waters, you can't focus on swimming at all. You got to focus on floating. In deep waters, your feet don't touch the ground. So just know how to float. Float, and floating is another word for peace. And if you're dealing with bloating, you're dealing with indigestion, you're dealing with acid reflux, you're dealing with all these different dynamics, heartburn and all of that, is a sign that that stomach acid is fluctuating, it's chaos. You got arthritis, where your synovial fluid? You got this and that going on in your reproductive system. What's your seminal fluid looking like? Can't have no babies, infertility issues, all this. What's going on? The waters. I got PCOS and fibromyalgia. I got this and that. Hormonal imbalance are chemicals, and chemicals are the waters. Okay? They're simply the waters. Anybody got any other questions thus far? Yo, HerbMan, I'm late. I've been on aspirin, BC powder, and you got me feeling, and UT got me feeling bad. Yeah, because you shouldn't have been on that shit, Lep. Why would you take inorganics? How can you follow a person like me and then think that it's okay to take an aspirin, a BC powder? BC powder been, did you know what the BC stands for? That BC been crack. Okay? BC powder been crack, huh? You understand me? So you taking stuff outdated. We know that aspirin don't work already, Lep. We know that BC powder don't work no more, man. You know, especially the Pepsis ain't even the same. You know, my grandma used to take that BC powder with a Pepsi. So you can't do that no more. The Pepsi ain't the same and the BC ain't the same. Okay? So you got to be able to get the herbs in your owner's manual and take those herbs, okay? But when you're dealing with headaches and pains and all that type of stuff, you got a lot of life issues, brother, okay? Don't come on my channel looking for herbal. You got to look for life. then you need to call me because you need your life situated. Okay? We got to get that pain down, and that means that you got to be able to produce endorphins. The pain relievers of your life is endorphins. Let me help my brother Lep out real quick. That's my brother. Let me help him out real quick. He watching. He's an avid watcher. Okay, let me show him what produces. First of all, we got to identify what solves pain. So we know that endorphins. Okay, endorphins solve pain. Okay, see, endorphins relieve pain. I'm just showing you a little something. Okay, so we know that right now my brother needs pain. Okay, so what inside of him produces the painkiller, and that's what I try to teach y'all. Stop trying to look for herbs. Your medicine is more potent than herbs and medication. Okay, so again, we'll show you another one. Endorphins. The biological role of endorphins is to create relief from pain and stress. It is nicknamed the calm chemical. Okay, so I'm just showing you this because now I'm going to show you how in the hell you can produce it, because that's what your next question should be. Is okay, you showing me that I can produce it, but how in the hell do I produce it? And let's see if I got that right around in here somewhere, man. You know, I got so much information. Okay, so what do we see on here that they say? Crying, laughing, dancing. So dancing rhythmic movement left. It synchronizes breath and heartbeat, releasing endorphins. And I know you got an earth element issue, okay, with the bones and stuff like that. Dancing is the earth element. And you ain't got to do a whole lot because I know you hurting. But I just showed you what releases your painkillers. Not aspirin, not BC powder, not UT or whatever you call that. You talking about migraines and all that. We just went over that. You got some blood issues. Okay? And we can help you out with the herbs. The herbs that are in your owner's manual already are allocated to those things. Get your herbs, take them, because I know you ain't yet. So when you get your herbs, you start to take them, and then you start to dance this pain away. Okay? And that's what's going to help you release the endorphins. In other words, when you start to move, okay, remember that synovial fluid. Anybody that's got low back pain and knee pain, and that's that synovial fluid. But you'll see that when you start to move it, even though your back may be hurting early in the morning, once you get to moving, the back pain go away. Why? That's the releasing of the endorphins. That's when you get to moving, that pain get to subsiding, okay? So I said, I'm dancing. It's humming this. Yeah, you better dance and stop taking that inorganic shit. I don't want to hear you saying you taking no more inorganic stuff, man. If you need something, wait on your herbs. In the meantime, in between time, keep yourself calm, cool, and collective so that your nervous system can handle what's going on, because all this pain is, you're very sympathetic. And I can tell by you being on the live every day and speaking out that you're very hyperactive as well. So you got this hyperactive and anxious type of mentality about yourself, and that's going to keep pain coming. You got to learn how to woo-saw and relax. I don't mind you being on the go to get what you need to get done, but you also must value rest and relaxation, especially for a person that's on the go. And what's happening is because you're burning out, right? You're burning out, and now you're starting to get these blockages. So now, from the earth element. So now what's happening is you're going to have to get some of this other stuff in you, because now you can't be on the move no more. Now you ain't been able to do what you need to do, and that's what's causing you the problem. But my point to you is that once we introduce these other things, then therefore you don't burn yourself out before it's too late. Let's get this under control right now so that you can get back to a little bit of what you're doing, but understanding that you need these other things to keep you going. You're just at burnout phase. That's all it is. You're just at burnout phase, and you're at this blockage phase. And we got to impute these other things into your life, show you how important these things are to you and to your livelihood, but also to you giving back to nature. They're important to nature too. Nature needs for you to get back into sync. And once we're able to get you to get back into that thing, man, and really understand that your value is you got to be here to give me value, baby. I don't get no value out of you being dead. So your life is value. You find it in that, and we can start to create the space that'll start to alleviate those things. Very simple, very doable, very practical, and we can get you there. And y'all gonna see Lep. Lep ain't going nowhere, so you're gonna see him in a minute. Once he get his herbs, he's gonna be on here talking about, goddamn boy, you know I love you. Who it is, man? Who is Jimmy?
Yeah, man. That's me, my man.
Yeah, man, you gotta cut your music off in the background, though, Kinfolk.
Can't hear me, my man.
Yeah, I can't hear you with the music, man. You know what I mean? What's happening?
Seriously, can't hear me at all.
Man, don't bring these crazy folk up here, man, like that, man. They on the wrong show. Y'all on the wrong show, man. You know what I'm saying? I cut your ass out, man. I don't give a damn. This social media, cuz. You feel me? This social media, man. So stand down, okay? If you don't come right, don't come at all. Okay? Alejandro said the wrong show for sure, right? Yeah, the wrong show for sure. The wrong show for sure. Playing the wrong music. We trying to get folk to calm down. You trying to get folk to hype up. Come on, man. What's going on? So we already too hyped. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We need to calm down. Learn how to descend first, and then we ascend second. All right? So those are the things with the seaweeds, man. The seaweeds are very important at neutralizing a lot of this stuff going on internally with the waters. So that's why you see our particular panacea blend with a lot of those herbs that facilitate those waters, i.e. the Irish moss and bladderwrack, et cetera, et cetera. All right? So that's what we do. That's how we do it. If there is no more questions, man, I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate all 102,000 of you guys. Again, this is going to be on YouTube. If you miss it, go and get it. Keep the numbers going up. Keep supporting. Keep being down with your homie, man. We're going to keep on coming on every day between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you. It's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please go tell somebody to go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. And until next time, love HerbMan. Woo-say! Yes, sir.